after we left camp, we had to change from Japanese names to American names. And I remember the teacher, my first class, laughing at me because I had the first book, was starting the 3rd grade. And you never forget her name. Her name was Mrs. White. My Japanese name was Shizuko.
Shizuko.
And they changed it. Well, my American name was Muriel. Yeah. But once we got out, we moved I was born down south, Vista, and we never went back because I think my mother said they burned the house down. So we moved around a lot farming because people would call our family and say there's jobs here and there. So we were in and out of school a lot.
Just before we went to camp, my parents enrolled me in kindergarten. And my father always told me, you stay away from the gold hair and the blue eyes.
We could only live in the Mexican neighborhood, and they all just harassed us and taunted us all the time.
That day when we left Roar, I remember being escorted to the train tracks where this giant, huge black engine train was waiting for us. And the soldiers with their rifles and their bayonets, they hoisted me just like a paper, just a piece of paper. I was so tiny, but it took 2 of them. They hoisted me on the train and off we went to California. I remember 1949, November, just before Thanksgiving, we were said, you're going to have to leave very soon.
So family separation at the border is not a new thing.
No. Every barrack contained 4 families to a barrack, sectioned off. And I would say our family quarter was from that wall, not even this big, perhaps here. No rafters. The barracks were elevated off the ground because of the harsh weather. So the first day I went to school, here's this giant of a lady, 6 feet tall, Miss Patterson, and she came up to me. This giant was going to eat me up. And she bent down and she said, oh, my dear, and what is your name? And I said, Tomoye. She said, oh, no, we can't call you that. You look like a Sally to me. We'll call you Sally. And that stuck all these years. That's the way it was. You never questioned it. That was it.
We came out of the camps.
In 1940?
1945, June of 1945. I remember VJ Day, August 15th, when people are honking their horns and everything. The European war was over in May, so we got out around June. And so VJ Day was August 15th. I still remember that day. Papa started gardening, then he had a tractor, so he was able to tractor work for a lot of the flower growers in Redwood City, East Palo Alto. We released it. But we didn't make enough money, Sala, until 4 years of farming in Palo Alto. 2 years at one site, 2 years at another site. Then we saved enough to purchase our first land in East San Jose. So we did that for 40 years. Finally, it was too much. Just hard work. Picking tomatoes by hand, packing it, well, sizing it, sorting it, and then, so finally 1985 we sold the property, and so in 2000 I went to go live in Japan to find my roots. My father was very Japanese-ish, or Japanesey, I don't know what the word is. So I tried to see if I could learn to speak Japanese, but when you hear it all your life and you answer back in English, there is a block. 'Cause, you know, coming out of camp, we didn't want to speak Japanese. I didn't even want to be Japanese, see?